Hey there. So this video is for all of my women who are brand spanking new to Saint, who just got their first package of makeup in the mail, opened it up and were like, what the heck do I do now? It can be very overwhelming, and that is okay. I'm hoping that this video takes some of those first time jitters away from you, because it is a completely different way of doing makeup for a lot of women. And a lot of us were doing our makeup the same way for decades. So it can be very overwhelming when you're changing a routine. And if you are a creature of habit like me and you like to stay in your little bubble, this can be even more terrifying. So hopefully this video helps you through that very first encounter with your Saint makeup, because what I love the most about this makeup is that I forgot how much fun it is to play with my makeup. And that is exactly what I get to do every single day with Saint, is play with my makeup. There's no right or wrong way or technique to apply it or do your makeup. I literally do my makeup differently pretty much every single day. I change up my colors all the time. It's just so much fun and so easy to play with. And so I'm hoping that this video will empower you to look at your makeup the same way and just play with it. Don't be intimidated by it. There's always an answer to any problems that you're having. So if you are completely unfamiliar with what I'm talking about Saint makeup. It is 3D foundation. So the idea is that traditional makeup that we put on our faces usually is comprised of one layer of flat foundation color, and then you layer on top of that with your contours, your bronzers, your blushes, layer upon layer upon layer to achieve dimension. But the idea with Saint is that you are custom matched by an artist to the different shades on your face. So my under eye is not the same color as right here. It's not the same color as right here. There are different shades to my face. And so the idea is that we're strategically placing certain foundation colors in certain areas to achieve a very dimensional, skin-like one layer of makeup. And it is absolutely the best makeup I've ever used in my life. It's cream based, so it gives you a gorgeous glowy skin-like finish, and it feels so incredibly lightweight. I don't feel like I'm wearing makeup. So that's a very basic rundown of Saint, but we are going to start with the absolute basics. So we are going to fill our palette. We'll do a basic face together. We'll troubleshoot through a couple of different things, but I just want to say right out the gate, the thing that sets Saint apart from buying your makeup at big box stores like Sephora, Ulta, insert name here, wherever you go, is that when you buy makeup from Saint or from a particular artist, you have me at your disposal to help you through any issues that you're having with application, with colors. If you want recommendations, I'm literally one message away from reaching out to me and saying, hey, I'm not liking that this is, kind of drawing attention to my pores. What am I doing wrong? And there's always an answer. So I'm here to help you troubleshoot. And that is what sets us apart, is that you have your own personal makeup artist at your disposal. So feel free to use me or whoever your artist is to help you through this, because it is a lot to kind of take in, especially when you're new to this makeup line. So all that being said, let's get started. First things first, let me get a sip of tea first. Okay, you're gonna get a palette in the mail. So these palettes come in all different shapes, sizes, colors, whatever your little heart desires. They have really, really big ones. But I personally, they have triple deckers, all these fun colors and stuff. So you pick the palette that feels right for you. Personally, this is the palette 18, and I really love this size for just like to keep my everyday face in. It's not too big and cumbersome, but it's large enough where I can kind of keep all of my creams on one side, and then if I want an eyeshadow or my setting powder or any extras can go in the back. And this has just kind of been my favorite size so far, especially just for like my everyday look. These larger sizes I feel like are good to kind of keep, like if you have a collection of the lip and cheek colors, then I like doing that, or a collection of the eyeshadows, however you want to do it. So for today, we are going to go off of the palette 18, and that's what I'm going to use. So these palettes are magnetic. They have a mirror in the top, and then usually a second spot to put more makeup in, but they're all magnetic. And so you are going to get these tins in the mail, and the tins just pop right in and they stay in place. And it's super convenient and easy because you don't have this big clunky makeup bag with a bunch of products that you most of the time never reach for. So it's just a super compact, clean, simplified way of doing makeup. So you're going to have your palette that comes in the mail, and then you are going to be matched depending on what level you are comfortable starting with. The very basic, I'm going to typically match you to a main highlight, which is going to be considered like your foundation color, a brightening highlight, which would be considered like your concealer color, a contour, and a lip and cheek. You can add extras in there. I absolutely always recommend adding the bronzer because I feel like the bronzer just pulls everything together. But you can get multiple lip and cheek colors. You can get eyeshadows. I will say our eyeshadows are absolutely the best eyeshadows I've ever used. They are so incredibly pigmented. There's very minimal, if any, fallout. The only fallout I really ever experience is if it's like a glitter shadow. But these eyeshadows are absolutely way better than my expensive Urban Decay, Tarte, you name it. I love these shadows so much better than any of those. So all that being said, all of that makeup is going to fit in this palette, okay? So we are going to start off with our highlights. So like I said, you're going to be at the very least matched to a main highlight, a brightening highlight, a contour, and a lip and cheek or bronzer. So for me, I don't have a brand new brightening highlight, but this is how your tins come. They're really cute, really pretty, and they just pop out of the bottom like this, okay? So to start off with, I am the color Versailles for my brightening highlight. That is where I use under my eyes. I'll use it down the center of my face. So it is just going to pop right in like that. So like I said, they're magnetic. They're not going to go anywhere. So I usually just start from light to darkest. So next is going to be Candlelit. That is one of my main highlights. So for me, I mix two main highlights to create my perfect shade for the summer. One of the things I love about SEINT makeup is that I don't have to go out and buy a $50 bottle of foundation when I'm a little bit more tan in the summer. And I use the term tan very loosely for myself because I don't really get tan, but I use self tanner and stuff like that, and I do get a little bit of color. But these tins are $16, and I love it because I can buy a shade darker and completely customize my main shade to match where I'm at within the season. So right now I mix Candlelit and Sandy, and that is my perfect summer shade. Next is going to be my contour. So this is my contour color. I'm using the color Ash. Your contour is going to give you shadow and dimension. So we're going to add contour in our cheekbones, along our hairline. I contour my nose. So this is what gives your face shadow and dimension. So this is going to be more ashy in tone than, let's say, your bronzer. So this is my bronzer. This is Bella. And Bella, I absolutely love our bronzers. This bronzer is unlike anything. So this is Bella. This is probably one of the most universal colors. Most everybody is matched to Bella. But these cream bronzers look so incredibly natural, and they just give you more of that warm, sun-kissed glow on your face. So you can see the difference in tone between my contour, which like I said is going to be more ashy in tone, than the bronzer, which is going to be more warm in tone. You can have a cream illuminator. So this particular cream illuminator is Glow, and I like to mix Glow with my Bella bronzer because it just gives like a really natural glowy, dewy finish. Another look at, because I know that looks a lot like my contour and stuff, but we have tons of cream illuminators and they're all different colors. So this is Angel. Angel is like a really soft pink color. Here's Pearl. So it's a little bit more light, silvery kind of creamy color. So there's all sorts of different illuminators that you can choose from. But personally, I absolutely love Glow Mixed with Bella. It is so good in the summertime. So that is what I usually use. So we have all of our highlights in place. You'll usually pick a lip and cheek color. This particular color is Wallflower. Wallflower is the limited edition shade of the month for August. It is one of the semi-glosses and it is so pretty. I was very pleasantly surprised with this color. So it's a really gorgeous peachy pink color. And the thing I love about our lip and cheeks, there's 3 different sheens that you can choose from. There's glosses, which are going to be more glossy. There's satin, which is going to be more of a matte finish. And then there's these semi-glosses, which I feel are the perfect marriage between both worlds. I tend to like the semi-glosses better on my lips, and I like the glosses better on my lips. I like the satins better on my cheeks. So the semi-gloss is really just like the perfect marriage. It feels great on my cheeks. It's not too tacky. And this color is just absolutely gorgeous. So I highly recommend, if you have not grabbed Wallflower, do so ASAP, because once August goes by, it's no longer. So it is one of the limited edition shades. Okay, so that is my lip and cheek. You can add another lip and cheek in there. So let's grab a fun color. So this is, we'll do Candy. So this is Candy. So you can add a couple of different, and pardon my sniffling. It is like changing of weather, and it is my every year sinus stuff. So this is Candy, and I'll just go ahead and put a lip conditioner in there. So this is my cherry lip conditioner. I always like to start off every day with my lip conditioner before I put anything on my lips, just to make it a little more glossy and hydrated. So that is that. Those are my creams on the top level. And then like I said, I like to keep my powders separate if I can. So I'm going to go ahead and put my Vanilla Dust setting powder in here. The Vanilla Dust setting powder, you need to set this makeup. What method you use to set this makeup is completely up to you. Drink break. I love our Vanilla Dust setting powder because it is incredibly lightweight. It's not drying at all. I don't like setting powders on my face. I have very, very dry skin. And so prior to this, I've never been a fan of using setting powders because it just makes my face feel really dry and just not fun at all. And I don't have that at all with Vanilla Dust. It is so lightweight and just gives you a really beautiful airbrush finish to your makeup. So highly recommend that. We also have a setting spray that you can use. So just whichever you prefer. If you prefer keeping that more dewy, glowy kind of finish, then I recommend using a setting spray. If you like a more matte airbrush finish, then I recommend grabbing that Vanilla Dust setting powder. So there is the Vanilla Dust. I'll add my, this is my eyeshadow brush cleaning tile. When people first see this, they always think that it is like a pumice stone, and it's not. It's squishy. It's just a great little tool to go between your eyeshadow colors and kind of get that color off, so you can kind of go between colors very easily and quickly. And then you can add whatever eyeshadows you want. Or if you have any powder illuminators, you can add those as well to the bottom. So I'll add a couple of eyeshadows. So this one is Rome. It's a really pretty, very subtle, I don't know if it's picking it up all that well, but it's just a very subtle shimmer on that. So we'll do Rome. Here is Basic. So this is Basic. So we'll add a couple of those. And then I'll throw in another eyeshadow here. Let's find one of my most, so Lullaby. I'll put Lullaby in here because Lullaby is one of my most recommended colors. It is such a pretty neutral mauvey purpley color, and I feel like it is just absolutely gorgeous on all different eye colors. So we'll just put those three in there to show really quick. So that's that. I have plenty of room. I always recommend sizing up in your palette size because people tend to be like, okay, well, I just filled it. Well, if you ever want to add to your collection, then you have to get a whole brand new palette. So I always say size up so you give yourself a little bit of room to grow and play, because the addiction is real. I'm just going to tell you now. So that is that. In addition to your makeup that you are color matched to, we have so many different brushes that you can choose from. Depending on what finish you're looking for is what the brush that I will recommend to you. So for example, this is the detail brush. This is great for doing your contour. So if you struggle with contour, I will always recommend that you snag the detail brush because it makes contouring an absolute breeze. You can also do your full face of makeup with this brush. It gives a nice medium to full coverage finish. So if that's what you're looking for, then detail brush is the way to go. The blush and bronzer brush is one of my absolute favorites. When I first started off with SEINT, this was the only brush that I had, and I used it for a full face of makeup. This is a great brush to use if you prefer a light to medium coverage finish. But I love that the bigger side is great for your bronzer, and then I use this to do my full face and my blush. But I absolutely love the finish that this one gives. This one also comes in a bundle with the Bella bronzer. So to save you money, a lot of times I will recommend this brush because then we can bundle it with your bronzer and save you a little bit of money and get your brush while you're at it. So this is a great brush too. This right here is the 3D brush. I really like this brush as well. This is great for a medium coverage finish. And then this is the powder brush. I use this all the time. Right here is our blend brush. So the more dense the brush, the more full coverage finish that you're going to get from it. So this is the blend brush. This is actually one of our lightest coverage brushes. So if you have mature skin or you just prefer a really light coverage finish, this is a really good brush for you. And then, you know, eyeshadow brush, multitasker, all that jazz. So for today, I think I'm just going to go in. I'll show you a couple of different ways to apply this makeup. I know that people, I've kind of noticed that, you know, when you first see this makeup, a lot of times you've seen it on social media. And a lot of times what will grab your eye is that dot cheetah hack method. And it is very eye grabbing. And I feel like people kind of get in their head that that's how I need to apply it. To be quite honest, that is not my favorite way to apply this makeup. I feel like it's great in a sense because it shows you how little of the makeup that you need, but I just prefer different application methods. Not to say that you can't do the cheetah hack method. It's absolutely just probably a personal preference, but I've noticed that a lot of my customers, when they try doing this makeup that way, they tend to get a little bit frustrated. I feel like that is probably a better method if you have a little bit more experience with this makeup. So that being said, I'm going to show you just kind of how I do my everyday makeup look and just show you the basics. So I personally like to start off with, I like my detail brush. I think this is the absolute best brush for contour, and I think that this is a really great brush to have if you are a beginner, because especially if you're not accustomed to contouring, this brush takes a lot of the frustration out of learning to contour. So you'll notice that it has like a flat edge. So I always start stamping on my contour. So I'm going to go into Ash, which is my contour color. I'm just going to take one of the flat edges and I'm just going to lightly tap in that. And then I'm just going to stamp my contour on my face. So one thing that you may notice when you get your makeup is that a lot of times the contour is a different consistency than your highlight colors. Your highlight colors most of the time are going to be much more creamy, and your contours tend to be a little more stiff. This one is actually pretty creamy, but some of the colors can come a little more hard to apply. If that ever happens, do not worry. I always tell women, just stick it on a coffee warmer, a wax warmer. You can even put it on just a dry pan over the stove. Just melt it down, because it'll make it that really nice creamy consistency that applies very easily. So sometimes that is something that you may run into, because people are always like, I don't understand why my contour is not the same consistency as my highlight. So try that. You can also just take a hot blow dryer and just run it over the top until it kind of melts down a little bit, and then let it cool completely. Okay, so I've applied my contour to my hairline. I've applied it just under my cheekbone. So a good rule of thumb is just going from the top of that ear and just going about right outside your pupil. You don't want to go too far in, and you don't want to go down too low. And I just kind of stamp it on and kind of blend it so it's not so harsh. And you always want to blend up on your cheekbones. You can also contour your jawline, so go right underneath that jawline just to give you a little more dimension. I have a long face, so I contour, you see me contour my chin. That's because I have a long face, but unless you have a face shape like mine, you don't need to contour your chin. I also contour my nose, but I like to hold off on my nose contour until I have all of my other colors placed. So I'll show you that in a second. Now you can continue using this brush to do your full face. You would just do the same thing. You would stamp into your main highlight and kind of drag it, and then you'd blend it however you like. But I'm going to show you a different brush for this technique. So this is the blush and bronzer brush. Like I said, this is great for a light to medium finish. So these are my two main highlight colors, so Sandy and Candlelit, and I'm just lightly tapping in between those two colors, and then just tapping it where my main foundation shade would go. And I haven't blended it yet, so don't don't judge it yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna take this in little circles, and I'm just gonna buff this out. Now, if you have issues with skin issues, if you have acne, if you have sunspots or melasma, if you have, redness, whatever the case may be, you will most likely get matched with a color that would act as a color correcting color. So that way we're not adding a ton of product to try to get the coverage that we want. The wonderful thing about this makeup is that it is so it's highly pigmented. So you look at these in the tin and you're like, that does not match me. Do not be afraid when you first look at these tints, because they go on completely differently when you blend them out. So they look scary in the tins, but once you get them on the skin and you blend them out, you use such little product, and it has such incredible coverage. So I'm just lightly buffing this where my main foundation shade would go. You'll notice I'm not putting any product under my eyes, but I am kind of swiping under them just to get a little bit of color correction. I don't have dark circles today, but there are some days where I require a little extra attention under the eyes. So today I'm just kind of taking leftover main color and going under my eyes. Okay, so that is our main foundation shade, our main highlights. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my brightening highlight. You can use, again, whatever brush. You can use your fingers, you can use a different brush. I personally like to use the multitasker. The small end of the detail brush is also good, so I'll show you with the small end of the detail brush. So I just go in with a very little amount of product, and you're just going to go basically down the center of your face. So this is just going to bring light to the center of your face. So Cupid's bow right under the chin. Now with your eyes, especially if you are over the age of 25 and you have any sort of texture under your eyes, like most of us women do, less is more under the eyes. So one of the biggest mistakes that we can make with mature skin is adding too much product, especially under the eyes, because that is where you're going to have the issue with creasing and the product just not lasting on you. So less is more. So like I said, I didn't put any product directly under my eyes. I just went through with a little bit of that leftover main highlight color and just went very lightly under my eyes. And the only additional thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of brightening highlight to the inner and the outer corners of my eyes. Okay. And then I'm just going to buff this out again. So you'll notice that I have already gorgeous dimension, and I don't have a ton of makeup on my face. Like I said, it literally just feels like I'm wearing a hydrating moisturizer on my face. Whereas I'm used to, before I started this makeup, I used to wear like Estee Lauder Double Wear because I like a full coverage finish. And by the end of the day, my face was so dry and it would crack on me. And I could not wait to get home to wash my face. This feels completely different. So I remember the first time I put it on, I was like, oh my God, I don't even feel like I have makeup on. Okay, so I have my contour placed. I have my main highlight and my brightening highlight. Now I like to go in with my bronzer. So like I said, this is the Glow Illuminator down here. I like to mix that with my Bella bronzer. So I just very lightly tap in between those two. And I'm just gonna buff this where you naturally get that kind of sun-kissed glow, where your face naturally kind of tans. So I like to go just below my contour on my forehead, and then just right above where I've placed my contour on my cheeks. And I just kind of like buff that up into my temples. I love our cream bronzer. I feel like it really just ties the whole look together. So I'll usually just take a little bit of that Glow Illuminator and I kind of just run it along the top of the bridge of my nose, just to kind of make it look like I've gotten a little sun. And then I usually will take a little bit of that bronzer and just drag it down. So that everything matches. Okay. So that's that, okay? Now it's just your blush. Okay, so I'm gonna show you Wallflower because I love this color so much. It is so gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the small end of that blush and bronzer, and I'm just gonna tap into Wallflower. And I'm gonna go right above that contour. And I always start just outside my pupil and I just tap it up into my temple. That's gonna give you a really nice lifted effect. If you want a little more fullness to your cheeks, then you will apply it to the apples of your cheeks. Personally, I like the lift, so that is what placement I am doing today. But how gorgeous and just natural is this color? I'm just in love. I actually ordered an extra tin because it was limited edition. It's like, I don't want them to get rid of it. So these are very buildable. The The satins are going to be much more pigmented. The glosses and the semi-glosses are much more buildable colors. The satins, you'll always want it to kind of err on the side of caution and go in with very little and build it up, because some of them can be incredibly pigmented. So that is Wallflower. And then I'm going to go ahead and contour my nose. Now, typically my go-to brush for nose contour is this brush. It's in the demi line. It's called the Blur brush. I really like this brush. I also like the smudge brush, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you how I contour with the detail brush that I've already kind of shown you guys on. So again, just go in with very little amount on one edge. And the thing with nose contour is that you want to go on top. Some people make the mistake of contouring on the side of their nose. You want to go on top of the bridge of your nose. And we're just going to buff a line right there on top of the bridge of our nose. Again, less is more. And then we're going to go on the other side. Now, the closer that these two lines are together, the more slim your nose is going to appear. So keep that in mind. And then I always just connect it at the bottom, and then you can kind of buff out that brightening highlight and add where you need to. I like to go in with my finger and just kind of buff out that brightening highlight on the bridge of my nose. So just like that. That is it. So you can be done. You can add a little bit of eyeshadow at this point. I'm going to go ahead and throw on some eyebrows because I never look quite right without my eyebrows. Personally, for me, I like to go between a brow pencil and one of my eyeshadow colors to fill them in. You can also use your contour color in the line brush to do your eyebrows. This personally is just my preference. So I go in with a brow pencil and I just outline the top and the bottom of my eyebrows. I hate doing my eyebrows, and so this is just kind of like the quickest way that I found to do them. And I have to concentrate when I do it, so I'm not going to talk very much through this process. I don't have very much brows towards the center of my face. You'll see they're very sparse, if non-existent, the closer to the center of my face that you go. So I do kind of extend that line just a little bit. I'm using a very light hand because I don't want any harsh lines with my brows. So I just outlined the top and the bottom of that one. And we'll outline the top and bottom of this one. So this is the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in the color Soft Brown. I like this one, and I also like the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer Pencil in Soft Brown. Now I go in and I fill in my brows with one of my eyeshadow colors. So I'm going to use this color right here. This is Oak. And I'm just going in with a cheap angled brush. And I'm just filling those in. And when I go in, dip into the color and I go on my eyebrow, I'm always starting in the middle of my eyebrow and going out, and then taking that leftover color into the center of my face. So that way I don't have any harsh color right here, because you want it to kind of have a faded look towards the center of your face, so it doesn't look like this harsh tattooed on eyebrow. Okay. Make sure I have them looking. All right, so those are my eyebrows. It just makes all the difference in the world, I swear. And then sometimes I'll just take my brow pencil and I'll kind of very lightly just create little hair strokes towards the center of my face. So nothing harsh, okay? So that's it on my eyebrows. Like I said, you can go ahead and do an eyeshadow color, throw on some mascara. I'll show you a quick lip look. So where is my smudge? Okay, here's my smudge brush. Okay, so one thing I do like to do is I like to contour my lips. So I'm gonna go in with a little bit of contour right under my bottom lip. And this is just going to create a naturally fuller lip without overlining and having that kind of overdone Kardashian look. You know what I mean? Okay, so that is my lip contour. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of that wallflower. Y'all, this color is so good. If you don't have it, snag it. It's so pretty. Okay, so that's wallflower. So if you want to set your makeup, you can either, like I said, use a setting spray, you can use a setting powder. On hot Alabama humid days, I actually do both. So I'm going to show you just going in with that powder brush, just tapping in a little bit. And I don't set my whole entire face. If I do set my under eyes, I do it very sparingly. I don't go directly under my eyes with powder. I just use a little bit of leftover. And then I kind of just go in my T-zone. So you don't need to set your entire face, but if you are oily or you have combination skin and you tend to get oily in your T-zone, then just take a little bit of this setting powder where you tend to get oily. And that's it. I mean, how pretty is this makeup? I absolutely love it. I know that this video is like 40 minutes long, but I've been talking a lot. When you get the hang of this makeup, you can do a face of makeup in 5 to 10 minutes, especially if I'm doing an eyeshadow look. I can be done in a full glam eyeshadow look in 10 to 15 minutes. So it is very fast to do once you kind of get the mechanics down and kind of get in a good groove. It's really easy to do. I know that this took a long time because I like to talk through everything, but if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. If you need a color match and you are interested in getting started with your own personalized compact, one compact makeup, I will put a link below in the comments to do a free color match. Just upload a really good selfie. I will say this, I'm a stickler with selfies, okay? So you have got to give me a good selfie if you want a personal color match. So just make sure that you have no makeup on, no filters, your camera has been cleaned, it's not all foggy and dirty. And just stand in front of a window with good natural light and just snap a selfie. That's all that you need to do. Lights off in your room, stand in front of a window, snap me a selfie, submit it in the color match form below, and I will get you all of your recommendations and then build a palette based off of what you're looking for. So anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope that this was helpful. If you are just getting started on your Saint journey with me, thank you so much for trusting me as your artist. And please let me know if I can help you at all. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye.